the truth about crochet, the hard truth that nobody's really talking about and that nobody's really mentioning is that, so if you're like me, you're probably seeing crochet show up a lot more on your social media feeds. You're probably seeing crochet artists at pop-up events and farmers markets, and you're probably thinking to yourself, I could do that. That stuff's cool. I'd like to learn. And so you go out and you grab your yarn and your hook and you start looking up tutorials and how-to videos. People in the tutorials, they make it look so easy. You quickly start to realize that what you're making isn't turning out right. There's gaps in your projects. You missed a stitch. And you start to get frustrated. You really feel like this just isn't working out. You just can't get it. This just isn't for you. And you're not alone in that sentiment. You're not alone in thinking like that. The truth about crochet, the hard truth that nobody's really talking about and that nobody's really mentioning, is that it's really, really hard to learn. You see the people in these tutorials that are just flying through the stitches and everything is turning out perfectly, and you can't even make a circle. And you're sitting there wondering, well, what's wrong with me? This is probably just not for me. Have you ever felt that way? My name is Laura Pope. I'm the sole proprietor of the Happy Place Crochet. It's a small business that I started where I sell my crocheted goods. I've been crocheting since I was about 8 years old. My grandmother taught me when I was a little girl. I didn't really make much back then. I picked it up again as an adult after some coworkers were doing it, and I did not do well at first. It really didn't come naturally, especially whenever I started to learn to read patterns. It definitely felt like another language entirely. So I am neurodivergent, which is a blanket term for people with differences in their brains that make certain things challenging, especially things like learning new things. This did not come easily at first. I definitely struggled a lot. But now I make all kinds of incredible creations, and I will be sharing all the patterns that I used for everything. And if you see something that you like, just give it a shout out in the comments and I'll let you know the pattern designer and where I got it from. Learning was a huge struggle, but along the way I learned all kinds of tips and tricks that really helped things sort of click for me. And I'd like to share them with you on this channel here. So if you're neurodivergent like me, or even if you're not, I just want this to be a place of learning for you. So this is meant to be the intro video to my YouTube channel, and it's meant to give you an idea of what to expect from this channel. I plan to keep my videos short and sweet and concise as possible, while also being very thorough and slow. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I also want to make sure that you understand as much as possible. Rather than a long hour to a couple of hours long tutorial showing every single thing, it's going to be broken up into bits and pieces that are a little bit more digestible. That way you can take it little bits at a time. Because if you try to cram too much in at once, you can become a little bit overwhelmed, and that's where frustration starts. So my goal for this channel is to post at least one new video a week, and I'm going to be doing things like shorts and lives and stuff like that. I'd like this tutorial channel to be set apart from the rest that you've seen out there. I've seen a lot that are either incredibly fast or painfully slow, so I'd like to meet you somewhere in the middle. I'm definitely not your typical YouTuber. I'm no proper English lady. I'm no Instagram-worthy aesthetic queen. My husband is out there watching our feral toddler while I'm in here recording in my bedroom using my headphones. This is just me, some rando awkward chick, showing up for you so you can show up for yourself. And I want you to show up for yourself by learning a new skill. You already know that sitting there scrolling on your phone is not good for your mental health. Instead of scrolling, use your hands to make something awesome so that other people can see all of the cool stuff that you've made instead of you just watching other stuff that people have made. So I'm going to talk a bit about how the first few YouTube videos are going to go on this channel. The first ones are going to be about laying the groundwork, It's going to be slow and basic. I'm going to show you how to hold your work. I'm going to show you your stitches. I'm going to show you all of the tools and the supplies that you need. If at any point you'd like me to do a video on learning something specific, please just let me know in the comments. And then after we do things like learn our magic ring and our slip knot and our stitches, we're going to go into things like learning how to read a pattern, learning how to make wearables, learning how to make cute little toys. I will also be talking about how I moved this from being just a hobby to being a business. This is what I do full time to help support my little family, and I'm pretty proud of it, and I'd like to share the details with that with you as well. I also don't want this channel to be a one-trick pony either. Yes, I crochet, and yes, it's what I do for a living, but I also do a lot of other stuff. I've been a mom for about 13 years. I've cooked a lot of meals. I've baked a lot of treats. I'd eventually like to have some cooking and baking tutorials as well as some DIY projects. My husband's pretty handy and isn't too camera shy. Even if you're a crochet wizard and you've been doing this for a long time, I think that you can still find value in this channel. I'm going to be sharing all kinds of tips and tricks to make things easier, and also how I do cool stuff like needle felting, which is how I add details to things, and I'll also be sharing some really cool patterns that you maybe haven't seen before. So if you'd like to learn a new skill, hit the like and subscribe button and follow along. And head over to my channel to check out my other video that shows you the basic tools that you need to get started learning how to crochet. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you there.